in the low bid amount of $1,301,577.16. Attached behind our bid letter recommendation is a copy of the bid package and a completed bid tabulation if you're interested. After reviewing the bids, it is our recommendation, and we have coordinated this, I might add, with your landscape architect, Trent Rush, and it is our recommendation that the contract for construction of the Tumlinson Playscape be awarded to TF Harper in the low bid amount of $1,301,577.16. Be happy to address any questions or comments you may have.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve and
Motion.
award the contract to TF Harper?
I motion to award.
Second. Okay, any questions for David Gray?
Yeah, well, yes.
Yes, sir.
I just want to confirm, hey Trent, so they're the lowest bidder, they're also the responsible bidder,
Yes,
they're
sir.
responsive.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. We pre-qualified all our bidders, their qualification, I included in the packet, I apologize, it's really thick. If you're interested in details about the company, where they're located, they're a local company here in Texas, here in Central Texas, they have a number of large projects that are listed in their pre-qualifications, which is in your packet. Very impressive firm, very pleased with them being the low bidder.
Yeah, absolutely. We also talked about the amenities subcommittee, we'll work with them once they get on board. I believe the schedule right now, looks like they may complete it by mid-July. And if we all think about that, that's gonna impact Tomlinson Pool, it's gonna impact the practice field, volleyball. So we're probably gonna have to shut down part of Tomlinson Park throughout this process. We'll do clean, crisp communications, we will definitely run it past the full board. But understand, we don't want major construction going on there and having somebody on the practice field or, you know, the volleyball courts, so.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Does that include the pool?
We talked about that in our last amenities meeting, and it probably will, we need to talk to Mark a little bit more, at some stage, not the entire time, we'll probably use the side gate. Because we will probably, not definitely, but probably have to shut down that parking lot for a period of time. It may be because of the, equipment coming in, because of where they're storing equipment. And so again, it have to be really good, clean, crisp communications, where the parking's allowed, and that kind of thing. So safety is our number one priority, so we want to work with TF Harper, and I'm sure that they'll be on board with that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, anyone opposed? Okay, that passes, fantastic. We are really excited, this is the first step, and we are moving forward, and I know the residents are gonna be super excited about this.
We will proceed with notifying TF Harper of the board's decision, proceed with contract award activities between our office and their office. They'll be providing contract documents back to our office. We'll need to coordinate probably, Ursula, with you for execution of the final contract. Once we get that back and reviewed everything they send back to us,
Okay.
we'll coordinate with you. Subsequent to contract execution by all parties, we'll be working together with Trent and TF Harper to schedule a pre-construction meeting at the site, and that'll basically kind of kick things off. One of the first things we want to do is get them under contract so they can order the equipment. That's the big lead time on this whole project.
Okay,
So we're off and running.
yeah,
And very exciting. I look forward to working with the board and seeing this come up in your backyard. So it's
yeah,
it's a great
absolutely.
time.
Thank you, and thank you for everyone for their hard work, including you, Trent. Thank you so much.
You bet.
That's,
If you don't need us anymore, we'll extend
yeah, go
it.
ahead, Boogie, yeah.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go to the proposal from Premier Rec Management Services for replacement of the caulk on the water slides. That is in your packet, I believe it's the last page, maybe?
It is.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Any discussion? Okay, anyone opposed? Okay, that passes. And then let's go into TDS.
Okay, so for TDS, today it's just going to be a substantive update. There are a few numbers and scenarios I'm checking out with Jamar. So I wanted to present this to everybody, but also solicit some feedback. So I realized, you all can, there's extras. If you want. So forgive me for the size of it. but I try to get it on one page. So, so the first one, you'll notice, just the time. So the first one on the list, you can see here, just to decode it for you. It's trash once per week, every other week recycling, then plus 4 bags. So you can use your trash can plus 4 bags, 3 bulky pickups per year, plus 2 community drop-offs, which means Germano. And then across the line is the fee. Now that's green because that's the one we currently have.
Okay.
Just for reference. The rest of the scenarios go on down, like the next one, again, just to decode. The next one is just taking off one of the bulky pickups per year.
Okay.
Okay, and that would be a savings of 39 cents. You can see that in the third column from the right. All households, this assumes 2,173 households, which is, as of yesterday, the current number of active contracts, not homes in the neighborhood. And then that's the last columns for the year. Yeah, so anyway, those are just the different scenarios. There's a couple of scenarios we're working on. So the first yellow line, number 5, this is one that I didn't request right out of the gate. And so I'm waiting on Jamar for that one. He'll get it to me probably tomorrow. And that is 0 bulky pickups where you call in, 2 community drop-offs, I don't know the price yet, plus the 4 bags. Now, what we were talking about kind of pricing out is what would be the cost for the community drop-offs for the whole neighborhood, right? We had discussed that with him. I don't remember if it was his idea or our idea, but the idea would be, you know, over the weekend, we'd say on Saturday morning, have your bulky trash picked up, and he'd go to every house in the neighborhood over 2 days, not 1 day. So the thought is, would there be savings there if we didn't use the bulky pickups that people have now, but we did 2 kind of Germano-like, but it's at your house, because of course the problem with the Germano, while a lot of people like it, including myself, if you don't have access to a truck, it's not that useful.
Or have half a day to spend there.
Right, or if you end up at the end of that line. So that one line, the yellow line, is to drop down, that is actually the same as the line above it, except for the plus 4 bags. He gave me that price, but I don't know about everyone else, but my family occasionally will use the plus 4 bags, so I wanted to at least get that price. Then the bottom one is the cost for the curbside. He sent me numbers, but I just need to make sure they balance out. That each, like the price per household, does not multiply up to the total price. So before I present it to you all for a decision, I wanna make sure I understand.
Okay.
The prices, the other 2 tables at the bottom, are just for reference, the one in the middle. So even if we reduce the number of bulky call-ins, you know, the 3 that you have a year, you can have as many as you want. It's $55 per pickup. And then those are the prices for the mattresses. Those are just numbers he gave me for reference. And then the one set of numbers I really wanted were the bottom sort of right-hand table numbers. So, you know, if we reduce it, I wanted to see how many households does that impact if we reduce it. So 15 households this last year, 2024, used 3 pickups. 84 used 2 pickups, and those numbers do not duplicate. So the set that are in the 15 in the top line are not in the second line. And then 277 used 1. So it's kind of interesting to see how many people would be impacted, but also how few actually use multiple pickups. 99 houses out of 20, almost 2,200 use
Yeah.
more
Okay.
than 1 pickup. So,
Okay, so obviously we are still waiting on a little bit more data, so, David wanted to share this with you.
yes, and, sorry, I think you're doing the last thing too, right? Just the scenarios. So I have peppered Jamar with like different scenarios, and I want this to be the last time. I mean, he's happy to do it, but I want this to be the last time that I pepper him with yet another request for scenario, because these numbers, you can't just deconstruct them and put them together yourself. I have to ask him.
Yeah.
So the 2 yellow lines I'm asking him for, is there any other scenario somebody would like to see that I can get prices for?
And if you don't know it right now, I would suggest that you just email, General Manager Lisa, and then she can send it over to David.
Yeah.
But I'd ask that you do that by this Friday.
Absolutely.
Okay,
These 2 are already written into the email.
Yeah.
So I just need to either send it or add another one in.
Okay. And then, this will be on the agenda for, later in March, and we'll hopefully make a decision. But we want to get this in front of you to go ahead and start, chewing on that information, okay?
He said May is a possibility, if we can decide this month, it's possible that we could get it turned around for May.
Perfect, okay. All right, let's go into, we only got 2 more items, I think, 3. Number 4, so number 4 and 5, and actually, number 4, A, B, and C, were already voted on, so we don't wanna spend a lot of time on it. I'm gonna go around the table on 4A, and if there's any new business, please add it, and then we'll move forward. So, Director Young,
Yeah, I got a lot to say.
okay, you have 2 minutes. So I think we're just gonna try 2 minutes
I
or so.
appreciate you trying to keep me quiet, but this was an ambush last month. This project has been going on for well over a year, and there is no reason for us to get last second plan handed only to directors and people at this table. Not a single resident saw what was going on. In what was voted for was, we got that packet 2 weeks ago on Wednesday. And we were struggling to read through it as information was being presented. You were reading through it, do you not recall?
No, I know,
And you were trying to listen.
but I
you were
also
trying-
tend to look at the packet directly right before the hearing, so yes, so,
Right, no, it wasn't in the packet.
why not, but, okay, well, continue, I don't remember.
So we got this plan. Part of it is, we were moving towards having volunteers build a table, right? That's where we're going. The next thing you know, we get a packet and there's nothing in there about continuing that. But there is, what we did vote on was in that packet, and it directly says, Ursula Logan's friends, Gideon, is allowed to have some of the lumber. We voted to allow Gideon and 3 other entities besides the high schools to have the lumber. We can take a look at the plan, but that's nonsense. We need to let residents know at least a week beforehand what the plans are and not be giving this away to people's friends. We can decide to go like, hey, another thing is we need to find out how many actual boards are there. We need to do an audit so that when we do give it away or when we do build the project and turn it into a table, we can check out, hey, we're gonna need 8 boards for this, or this people get this much, and if Gideon's gonna get some of this lumber, I would like to know about it. But there were personal friends of Director Logan in the recipient list on what was voted last time. The next thing is, we have, at the end of every packet of the monthly meeting, we have code of ethics, and if there's gonna be a complaint about anybody, we have a process for that. We saw that packet, I don't know if it was 7 pages, but there was only 1 page of actual plans of what we're gonna do. Everything else below that was grievance. The topic that we were talking about at the time we were talking was where and what are we gonna do with this lumber? This wasn't a time to throw mud at Director Young. He's not talking, he's not being nice, we don't know where the wood is. That's irrelevant to what we had on the topic. If somebody wants to lodge a complaint against me, go through the process that's at the end of every packet, the monthly meeting packets, the code of ethics, write it up, submit it to the district's attorney, do your notary, let him review it, let me take a look at what's going on, because as you were saying, like, well, Robert would only work, Robert had it cut in 1-inch segments, not 2. That's not a time to discuss whether or not the benefits of which way we do it. I'm not gonna chime in, that happened a year ago. But as you're going through the plan, you're just building this case, like Robert's a monster, and I'm not interrupting you, I can't interrupt you. I want a chance, write out what your problems are with me, submit them, map them out to whatever code of conduct you feel that I've abused, and let's go through it professionally like we should, like it's designed.
Okay, Director Johnson.
Sean, I'm wondering, since we made a decision on this, do we need to rescind that decision, or what is the protocol on that?
We don't need to rescind any decisions, no.
Okay,
To change it, to like re-deliberate it at the next meeting, we don't need to. I would like to have a motion to postpone the disbursement of all the lumber until it's been inventoried and until we've had a chance to notify the residents of what our plans are to do with it, so that they can give us citizens' communications on what they would prefer, and we need to listen to the residents.
Okay, is anybody second Director Young's motion?
I have a question, I don't know what to do with that
Go
question.
ahead, ask me a question.
The lumber from last time, I remember the schools.
Correct. That's all it's going to, is the two
Okay.
schools. Yes.
Okay, those are my two questions.
Okay, is anybody gonna second Director Young's motion? Okay, let's finish, that drops. Let's finish discussion. Director Stanfield.
I have no grievances with you, which is why I didn't file a grievance. It was simply outlining the issue with the wood and having to maintain accuracy with the wood. I spoke with the GM and we didn't have a budget item to build the table. It's not something that we can use your per diems for. Sean answered that, which is why I recommended that it be donated to the schools who could use the lumber.
Okay. If I can respond to a little bit of this.
Yeah, we'll go back around one more time. Director Shoemaker.
Sean, I got a question for you. What exactly do you have down as our directive that we adopted last time as a motion on this? I know you probably, that's what, you haven't done the actual minutes yet, because we're not at the next board meeting, but I believe, that's what we've been dealing with Director Johnson's question, like, the motion we approved was to donate to the schools, right?
Correct, that was
And
it.
that's what I'm gonna confirm with you, like, I don't know who is Gideon?
We had,
Like, I'm confused.
He was in the package that was
excuse me,
handed out.
excuse me. We had, the amenity subcommittee met with Gideon, who is a neighbor that does woodwork, Brian Kinney, who's a neighbor that does woodwork, and Brad Scheibel, who does woodwork. And we are asking them, what's the quality of this wood? How much would it cost to
You
build
talked
it?
about this, okay.
Yeah, we have talked
Okay,
about
that's what
it,
I
it
was-
has been public. No,
Okay.
Gideon's not getting the wood, no one else is getting the wood, the two schools are taking all of the wood.
Okay, so
Okay.
I was confused, like, who's getting, because that was a
Yeah,
motion
and it's
made.
already been voted on,
Okay,
Robert-
that's all the questions I had.
So I'm going through my notes here, and there were three options that were laid out, the third of which was donate to the schools.
yeah,
And
and that's what passed.
That passed 4-1.
Okay,
Thank you, Sean.
okay, so there's no other motions, I don't think we
Do
need
we
to.
have a copy of the document that was handed to us?
You should have had it, you should have taken it home,
I'm sure
you
we got a
you
copy.
left the meeting early,
I didn't bring my last hearing board book with me.
no,
Yeah.
okay, we're gonna go on and move on to,
You said I'd get a chance to respond to
Go ahead, you're
your
right.
allegations.
go ahead,
When we go into punitive issues, let's take away Robert's key.
okay, that's not this
That is,
agenda
that
item,
is a grievance.
that's not this agenda item.
And,
Yeah.
okay, we'll get back to the return.
Okay, so we're done with 4A. We're gonna go ahead and go into 4B, which is the removal of any additional wood from Humana Community Center. So, Robert, at the last meeting, you agreed to drop off the wood by Friday. I think you dropped it off a few days later. That's great, it's there, so thank
I
you.
didn't agree, I was told to, and I didn't have time to do it until Monday.
No, that's great, thank you. We also asked you to pick up your wood. You probably noticed that Travis put it all together. I think you all got the email with the pictures. It's all nice and neat, consolidated. We need that wood removed if you want it, and Amanda or Director Johnson, Shoemaker, anyone have a recommendation? We've gotta get it out of there, it can't sit there forever, it's a health and safety issue. So, we asked you, we voted for you to remove it by Friday, you have not removed it. So, any suggestions from anyone at the table?
First of all, there were allegations at the last meeting that these piles were in unsafe manners.
They were,
Okay, what I consider unsafe is leaving boards with nails hanging out of them and screws hanging out of them.
Okay.
That's where we're at right now. It had not gotten out of control. There are things piled on the picnic tables where people are supposed to be able to sit. There were things set neatly, tidy. There were some small piles that were not of any danger, but now that I'm not touching anything else, now we got nails and screws hanging out of boards where people are supposed to be sitting.
okay, when can you pick up the wood? That is the agenda topic we're discussing.
I can pick it up within a week.
Okay, is that satisfactory to the rest of the directors?
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
Okay, great. And then the last thing is the keys. The board voted for you to turn your keys in on Friday. You have not turned them in yet. Will you please turn them over tonight?
It was one key, not both keys. It has been returned in the manner that I was emailed to do it.
Where did you return it? Tell the board where you put the key.
In the Dropbox,
When
like
did
I
you
was
drop-
told to do
Okay,
it.
cause we did not have it there as of this morning.
Okay, the very first time I came close to that Dropbox
Mhm.
was just before I walked in, and
Okay,
that's where I
perfect,
put it in there.
Perfect, then we don't need to discuss that anymore.
Okay, I
Okay.
do think we need to discuss it more, because we're doing a punitive action without going through the formal process, the code of conduct. And that's what we need to do to start singling out directors.
Okay, any more discussion? All right, consider, we already did that, so future board meetings, our next board meeting is regular board meeting in March. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
A second? Okay, anyone opposed? Thank you, fantastic, will you make sure that that key is pulled out? And then.